feet, right?
Yeah.
Thoughts from the trail. I'm Scott Anderson.
Good morning from the trail. It's a beautiful, chilly morning here in Utah. I shared yesterday a quote from Oprah Winfrey, and here is the quote on the screen. Pertaining to our emotions and responding when we have them, this is what she said: feel the feel, then take the wheel. I am continuing to think this morning about that quote and our emotions and how we respond when we have them. My observation is that over time, strong negative emotions are transforming away from being episodic and becoming more chronic. And I'm not saying that is always the case. I'm just noting that here, that's my observation, and it's not based on any scientific research. Here is what Arthur Brooks says about the idea of changing pressures and/or our emotions over time. He refers to it as chronic stress. He said that no surprise that chronic stress leads to maladaptive coping mechanisms in modern life. These include the misuse of drugs and alcohol, rumination on the sources of stress, self-harm, and self-blaming. These responses don't just fail to provide long-term relief, they convert and compound your problems to addiction, depression, and increased anxiety. What these coping mechanisms do is try to change the outside world, at least as you perceive it. People who misuse alcohol often say that a few drinks turn off the day's anxieties like a switch, and their problems are temporarily less threatening. End quote. The truth is, in my opinion, there is a better way to turning off these sources of temporary and sometimes exacerbating unhelpful fake relief. Here is something that has worked for me when I'm able to do it and may be helpful to others. Consider the emotion that your circumstances are stimulating in you. Observe them as if they're happening to someone else and accept them. Write them down to make sure they are completely conscious. Then consider how you choose reactions, not based upon the negative emotion, but rather based on the outcomes that you prefer in your life. If your response is not moving you closer and in support of the outcomes that you have, then rethink your response. It is probably the most obvious thing for me to say that this is not easy. If it was, we'd probably all be doing it. And this definitely takes practice. And you will have to have patience with yourself, just like I have to be patient with myself. Most of us have never had training on this, but we can learn this, and we can do it with practice, and we can share it with others. Like I said yesterday, we are the chauffeur of our emotions. So when we feel those feels, let's take the wheel and drive them safely in support of the outcome that we want in our lives. Blessings to all of us as we take that wheel. And this is a deep one. I invite us to give good thought, prayer, and meditation as to how we drive this in our lives. Blessings as we so do, and I'll see you next time on the trail.